What's going on, all of you fantastic freelancers? My name is William, and as I mentioned in a previous video, today we are going to be returning to making regular Anthem lore videos on the channel. The primary reason why these videos haven't returned in the past was because, well, the viewership wasn't ever as high as I would want, and never as high as it needed to be to merit creating these videos. They take a whole lot more time than an Anthem guide or update video, as I have to script, record, capture gameplay footage, edit, and you guys get the point. However, thanks to sponsors like today's sponsor, I'm able to make these videos again. And I hope that you freelancers will check out the links in the description below and pinned in the comments to help make these videos possible in the future if you enjoy them. But like I said before, today's lore video is made possible by Raid Shadow Legends. You've probably seen this game advertised everywhere, but have you actually played it? There is a whole lot more to this dark fantasy RPG than what has been presented to you on the surface before. Not only is it a free-to-play mobile game anymore, but it is also available on PC. As you guys can see, this game has some pretty cool cutscenes, gorgeous narration and dialogue, and impressive graphics for what was originally a mobile game. It also has a huge directory called the Index for all of your champions, including some of my favorite champions like the War Priest and the Retainer Dark Elf. Each character comes equipped with different skill sets that differentiates them from their fellow champions, not to mention some pretty great 3D models and character designs you can scroll through. By going over to the summoning portal, you can get even more champions, such as the Epic Frostbringer and Rare Bloodhorn. If you want to upgrade your champions outside of combat, all you have to do is head over to the tavern and sacrifice either champions or resources you find through gameplay in order to level them up. Once you reach a certain level, you can find a clan to join up and go partake in clan boss battles. Here you can fight with your clan mates against clan bosses and win awesome rewards. Want to test your skills against fellow players? Head over to the arena where you can fight in PvP battles, though where Raid Shadow Legends truly shines for me is with the campaign. In the campaign, you can increase the XP of your new characters and enjoy a fully voiced storyline. However, if you think your team is up to some of the most challenging tasks, head over to the dungeons where you can face up to 10 different bosses and progress through the stages like the Minotaur's Labyrinth. Raid Shadow Legends has a great story to it, and what I truly appreciate the most about it is that it does take the time to fully flesh out its universe and bring to life a wide variety of insanely cool characters. And now, for the first time ever, Raid Shadow Legends has a Battle Pass, where you can progress through for the first time ever to get free energy refills, gems, upgraded artifact sets, new epic and legendary champions, and a variety of other things by just simply playing the game. Feel free to find me in-game at any time as your Anthem. Imagine that. So if you truly want to show your appreciation for today's sponsor, go to the links in my description box, and if you're a new player, you can get 100k silver, and you will get this incredible champion, Hexweaver, for free. You will also find your extra rewards here in your inbox for the next 30 days only. A very special thank you once again to Raid Shadow Legends for sponsoring today's lore video, and without further ado, let's get into it. Chaos and creation. The very foundations of our world. Long before the threat of the Dominion, the rise of the Freelancer Order, and even before the formation of the Legion of Dawn, there were the Shapers. Welcome, honored freelancers, to the Cortex. I am Arcanist Willem, and I've been charged with ensuring the histories of this world are not forgotten. In our time together, my freelancer friend, we will accomplish just that. Today we will start examining every recorded era of our planet Kota from the beginning to the end. From the Age of Chaos, where the Anzu first emerged, to the oppressive rule of the Urgoth, humanity's rebellion, and the formation of the Legion of Dawn. All the way until our modern era where we face threats on every horizon. Though we must first start long before our written and recorded history began, with the legends of gods. If you were to ask any child inside of any settlement about who the Shapers were, they'd quickly tell you they created our world in 9 days. Everyone knows this from the stories that they were told as children. But the Shapers were so much more. In essence, the children are not wrong. The stories they were told do indeed cover the broad strokes, and carry with them a simple, undeniable truth. They are our gods. From what we understand of the legends, they walked upon the surface of Kota once, wielding their great instruments that now lay scattered, neglected and embedded throughout the planet. But what is the purpose of an instrument? To create art, but more specifically, to create music. Though, as many of you know, the Shapers' instruments play a different tune. Their instruments, or relics as they are referred to now, utilize the very power of creation. However, you as freelancers may know this miraculous power simply as the Anthem, or possibly the Anthem of Creation. Through the power of the Shapers' relics, they could harness the seemingly limitless power of the Anthem to terraform, create, and birth whatever they desired. What I find fascinating, though, is that not all relics were created the same. They vary in shape, size, and subsequently purpose. Some are capable of being carried by hand. Others require a cargo strider to transport them, while others scrape the sky much higher than the brim of the ripstream. Though I don't have to tell a freelancer the dangers of these relics. If your contracts are not to eliminate a scar threat that comes too close to our walls, or stop the outlaws from plundering a supply caravan along the trade routes, it is to silence these relics when they begin to sing the Anthem song. However, if by some small chance you are unable to, well, the ramifications are literally endless. Arcanist Orin put it best when he stated for the Arcanist Archives, oceans of ink have been spilled over the erratic behavior of Shaper relics. Some relics disappear when silenced, others do not. Some reappear hours or years later. Some vanish forever, or at least have never been found. Yet before you study, consider the most illuminating aspect of the Shaper relics. Not that they had the ability to play with time and space, but that it is possible to play with time and space at all. Though the capability of the relics to manipulate the very fabric of reality is just the beginning, and oftentimes, it is also the end. The Anthem song also has the power to create life, though recently it's not been the type of welcoming, friendly, sentient life. More times than not, the beings that spawn from its unstable relics are those with large gashing teeth, talons, claws, and all manners of things that even threaten you, freelancers, encased in your javelins. Though Ursics, brutes, and all manners of chimera are the least of your concerns. Should an active relic become overwhelmed by the power of the Anthem, well, just look at Freemark. Simply put, cataclysmic events begin to occur. So be it a soft hum or a blaring roar, the relics must be silenced at all costs. Though why would the Shapers create instruments imbued with such an unpredictable force of creation? Especially when that very force could also bring the end of everything they had designed in the blink of an eye. That, my friends, is something that we may never know. Some arcanists have debated that our gods wanted to develop a paradise. Some that our world was the testing grounds of some sort of magnificent experiment. And on have the debates gone on until many arcanists have turned old and gray. No matter their reason, cause, or justification, the Shapers left our world behind, along with their great instruments. An excerpt from A Strider in the Everwield. Did the Shapers miss their instruments? Why did they leave them? They were too many. They were too large. Scattered across the world to have thoughtlessly forgotten them. Perhaps they simply had no room, and mournfully cast them aside. Perhaps they were bored with all their forging of the world and turned elsewhere. Or perhaps they left in haste. The most popular belief amongst the more realistic arcanists is the Shapers' leave was due to their ill attempt to shackle the Anthem. It refuses to be controlled, harnessed, or commanded, almost as if it somewhat had a sentient will of its own. While it may be unable to free itself from the shackles of the Shapers' relics, the Anthem can still make its will be known. Some argue the very ripstream that prevents javelins, and subsequently humanity, from escaping our world, is the Anthem, punishing us for its captivity. The time after the Shapers' sudden and seemingly abrupt departure from our world brought on what is best referred to as the Age of Chaos. Despite the Shapers no longer being present to play their instruments, the Anthem still continued to make its will known. One of the Arcanist Order's most famed and honored members, Menarenus, once said, "The Anthem is not a toy or tool. It does not serve to help anyone but itself. It has a will. It must create, for it is creation. In that way, it must also destroy. For creation and destruction are merely two edges of the same sword. It cannot be tamed, and for it to be controlled would be unimaginable. The Anthem roared from within its shackles of the Shaper relics and created monstrous beings known as the Anzu. There are conflicting tales of when these monsters came into being, due in no small part to most references of the Anzu coming from folk tales and children's stories. Our core text of histories will tell you that the word Anzu refers to a group term for any creature formed at the dawn of creation. In other words, not of the natural world. When the Shapers departed, the Anzu were left to fend for themselves. Some survived, some did not. Some claim the Shapers created the Anzu for specific purposes, while others claim they emerged from the gaping maw of a cataclysm. The only thing preventing Arcanists from discrediting their existence altogether, however, is the considerable number of structures that date long before the Urgoth. These pre-Urgoth structures can be found scattered around the planet in such places as the Sunken Garden, in the depths of Shadowmark, the Vault of Monument Watch, and the Golden Monolith of the Mirelands. They were the only given proof of the Anzu's existence, until recently. In our world, there is one constant. You will never know everything. And if something seems complete, it never truly is. Apparently, a fellow Arcanist recently found ancient paintings that seem to suggest that not only did the Anzu exist, but they interacted with the Shapers, not just worshipped them. Several of these paintings showed a Shaper artifact emitting beams of light that could possibly be energy, an opening of a door, or perhaps the Shapers themselves existing in a plane beyond our base understanding. There was once an interesting theory by an Arcanist student named Kota, who believed the Anzu are not extinct, as we believed. Rather, they live and roam in our world in the present day as Titans, or perhaps even humans are Anzu. There have also been rumors and records that discuss beings known as Anzu witches within the Dominion, but that is a tale for another day. Aside from the Anzu, the Anthem's roar birthed cataclysms that ravaged our world. They created life, terraformed, destroyed, created, destroyed, and on it went for who knows how long. Perhaps the most interesting theory to emerge from the Age of Chaos is the possibility of humanity's creation from one of these cataclysms. Though without any records or evidence to support this theory, it's rather difficult to say. Even still, humanity was not the only race left behind by the Shapers. Others, like the Urgoth, survived and thrived during this time. And as most of you freelancers know, they would either subjugate other races or wipe them out, root and stem. In a future lesson, we will discuss the rule of the Urgoth, the Legion of Dawn and all their legionaries, Helena Tarsis, the original Emperor of Anthem, and of course, our modern era. I hope this enlightens you to the legends and the histories of our world, and I look forward to seeing you at our next lesson very soon. Until then, freelancers, you are strong alone, but you are so much stronger together.